Hello guys and welcome here to the Edmonton Street Course. Today for race number 9 on the Jello Cup Series Season TGIF. Hello everyone and welcome here. I'm Brian James up here in the booth. First road course, or first street course of the season, the only street course on schedule, but the first race where we will be making left and right turns today, and starting on the pole will be Eli Bright. Starting in second will be Jessica McNeilson. Third is Hillary Sanchez. Fourth, Joseph Curtis. Fifth, Tim Horton. Sixth is Ethan Lynn. Seventh is Charles Sanford. Eighth is Max Anderson. Ninth is Jackson Lynn. And in 10th is Brad Stover. Let's take you out of the starting lineup here from Edmonton. Here we go, they're making their way down the long back straight, and the pace car will peel off. Eli Bright, Jessica McNeilson, our first road course of the season, is underway. The green flag waves, and we're underway. Already seeing some guys make some bold moves at the back, but Jessica McNeilson up front will take the lead. We're seeing some guys run off too. 3 wide back there. And this cannot possibly end well. As you just take a look on back through the field, they survive the first corners, and Jessica McNeilson takes the lead with her Jimmy John's Ford Fusion, and she's going to get a big lead early on. Keep in mind, this is a tricky track to pass at. We may see a lot of the passing on pit road. It's once again down the long back stretch. And Jessica McNeilson will lead our opening lap. And we survive lap number 1. Keep in mind, like we said, pit stops will occur today. This is going to be very interesting. As you see, these guys barely made this first corner. Joseph Curtis almost lost it, and Tim Horton could have taken advantage there in the 4th position. Very lucky he didn't lose it. And this is quite a way to cap off the week with the road course. We start off next week's round of races with Talladega, the Geico 500. In our second restrictor plate race of the season. So it's only fitting here. And here they come again. And oh, I forgot to put this up. My apologies, guys. And Jessica McNeilson is doing everything she can to pull away here. She hasn't had the best of seasons so far. She's run pretty decently. I mean, a good finish at Daytona. And she's really not been mentioned a whole lot this season. She's hoping to change that here today. But we will have to wait and see on that. And for a lot of these guys, they're making their road course debuts. A lot of them probably not. Actually, a lot of them have not seen a road course on the Jello Cup side. And like we said earlier, these guys Shoot. Like I said, these guys have not run at a road course before today. So there is a lot at stake here in this race. Or a lot to learn, I should say. A lot to learn here in this race. Here they come back to the start-finish line. Jessica McNeilson has just dominated this race. And if we were to break this track down into sectors, it looks like Eli Bright is really good in the first sector and kind of falls off in the second and third, but he gained a little ground that last time around. And like I said, this is a learning curve, not just for the rookies, this is for all the drivers. None of them have been to this track before. The guys who raced in knockout qualifying, they kind of know how to get around this track a little bit. And by the way, I made a mistake last race when I said Tim Horton. I want to correct myself from yesterday's race. I said Tim Horton was the point leader entering the race. He was not. The current series point leader is Thomas Elucer in the number 77. Or at least he was as of last race. He's 14th today. I don't know if he'll be able to retain it with the 42 running very well. But, like I said, pit stops will be coming very shortly. And you can see you just go straight to go on the pit lane. And miraculously, we've been caution-free to this point. That's actually very surprising for a road course race. Because we're almost a fourth of the way through. Yeah, these guys racing super clean so far. Despite the 3 wide attempts early. Eli Bright is slowly but surely closing that gap, but at that rate, I don't think he's going to be able to make an impact. Here comes McNeilson. She is going to make it around the U here, and like we said, absolutely dominant so far. But you could see the gaps from 1st through 10th. It's about a second back to, I'd say about 2 seconds now back to Eli Bright. You know, you got Joseph Curtis back there, you got Tim Horton, Ethan Lynn, Hillary Sanchez, and the 5 just crossed the line. I'm wondering if maybe these guys wrecked. Keep in mind, it's very hard to bring out a caution here at a road course. Or no, wait, we just crossed the line. That's what happened. Shoot. Sorry, I flipped the cameras and I got confused for a second. But you can see it's about a 2-second gap. We'll have pit stops coming up very shortly. I can only imagine we will, as the tires have got to be getting worn on these race cars back to the line. Boy, did Eli Bright take a big chunk out of that lead the last time by. Like we said, most of the passing should be done on the pit lane. And Eli Bright is closing in quick. Yeah, these guys were going to run Road America this season, but because that track, for some reason, will not load on this game, we decided we didn't want to go back to Canadian Tire, and thought possibly this track would be the best option. And these guys are running off into the pit lane. Do we have anyone staying out on track? Yes, we do. The 23, Trent Fusion. But it looks like he pitted the lap prior. Oh, 14 got hit. But let's take a look at it here. Pit stops occurring. Right side's on, left side's going on now. See a lot of these guys, it looks like already pitted. And Jessica McNeilson will come out with a big lead here. And it looks like Joseph Curtis will take the second spot away. We should have one more cycle. Yeah, we will see how these guys cycle back around. And Jessica McNeilson has absolutely dominated this race so far. Which is shocking. Yeah, as we're coming back down the back stretch and through the aspect to start finish. McNeilson holds on to the lead. And like we said in pre-race, it's gonna like we said at the beginning of the race, I should say, a lot of the passing may be done on the pit lane. And sure enough, we were right. As Jessica McNeilson extends her lead, Joseph Curtis is going to be he is running in second, looking for his second victory of the season, but he'll have to run down that 14. Eli Bright running in third. He's had a rough season to this point. Would like to get that turned around. Hillary Sanchez is in the fourth spot. Also a rough season there. Brad Stover, even another guy with some bad luck this season. He wants to turn around. He's running fifth. Tim Horton, 2 wins this season. He wants to take the point lead away in 6th right now. 7th is Charles Sanford, that number 24. He needs a good run. 8th is Max Anderson in the 83. He's had some surprising runs so far. Ethan Lynn in 9th. He could use the points to keep above that cut line in 33rd. And 10th is Jackson Lynn in that number 15. He's had a little bit of tough luck, but new race team, it's not too shocking that they aren't running as well as they want so far. But 10th position for them. In 11th, we got Ryan Monaco in the number 5. He's going to hunt down the 15, try and pass them here. He's had a surprisingly good run to start out the season. In that number 5, 12th is Jean Sanford. She's looking for a good finish today. Thomas Elucer in 13th. He would like to keep the point lead or extend it. We'll see how he does today. DJ Curtis in 14th. He is leading our Go or Go Home group so far, and looking to capitalize today and get a good result. Rounding out your top 15 is Tim Randolph in the front row motorsports car. His teammate didn't make the race, but that doesn't mean he can't have a good run here today. Angel Navarro in 16th so far. He has been running very nicely in that number 20 throughout the season, but he would like to reach victory lane. It's going to be a tough road for him here, though. We'll have to see if they can turn it around late in the race. 17th, Nathan Faden. He got a great start to the season early, but has not run well since. And it looks like we have another cycle of stops coming here. So let's head back up to the front. Let's actually see where Jessica McNeilson is. Yes, she is on the pit lane. Don't know if it's a penalty or if it's just they are filling up on fuel. And the 17 has had an issue too. This is off-cycle pit stop, so I don't know what's going on. But it does not look good for them. That is a tough, tough break at the halfway mark. Eli Bright will now take control of the race lead as we just went through the field for you. Like we said, we start off next week with Talladega. So, and I said it in knockout qualifying, this is a wild card race. Today you may see a winner that you wouldn't see at any other track. So this is a big chance for a lot of these guys to get some points, get a win. You know, if they're not good at the 1.5 miles or the short tracks, or even the 2-mile tracks, because we don't run many of these. Winning on a road course would be big towards someone's chase hopes. Eli Bright knows that. Jessica McNeilson knew that early on. And definitely Hillary Sanchez knows that right now, running in the top 10. A lot of these guys looking to get some points. And we should mention, as we're talking points, how about that 30? Jean Sanford, top 10 right now. She is 33rd in the point standings at the moment. The last driver locked in. She's got a pretty decent gap over 34th, which I believe is James Qualls, but don't quote me on it. But what would this mean for her to get a good finish today? This could extend her gap over 33rd or get her off that bubble. But if you look 2 cars behind her, DJ Curtis, you know, he's a guy, he needs these points right now. He wants to get into the championship hunt. He is way outside of it. Had to qualify his way in. He's had bad luck this season. A good result could only improve things for them. You know, quite frankly, these guys might also just be racing for a win at this point, because they may not have the points to make the chase. We don't know yet. They don't have a win. But yeah, this could change the momentum for their season or help them catch up to 33rd so they can start locking in to races. You know, we mentioned, as we look at Trent Fusion, he was up front in the points to start the season. He's going to take a nosedive today, unfortunately. We mentioned Brad Stover before. 2 runner-up finishes last season. 2 races we thought he could pull off a victory, and he should have been in the chase with that Levine family racing team. Just didn't have the runs going for him. And so far this season, he's had nothing but bad luck. A win today for them, or even a good points day, could get them on the right track. This is what I mean by it being a wild card race. It could change the complexity of the season. As you see guys pitting right now, That should hand the lead over to Tim Horton. No, wait, Eli Bright stayed out. My mistake. And how about this for a wild card race? Tim Horton, he has 2 wins right now. A third one could put him, very much so, into the points lead. You know, there are just so many angles to this. You know, so much at stake. And, you know, we look a few more back. We got small teams running top 5 right now. Max Anderson, he's run very well this season. Has not won. You know, oh, my mistake. Ethan Lynn. You know, he's had some decent runs, but hasn't really moved above 30th in the standings too much. This could be a good points day for him to really capitalize on. It would change their momentum the rest of the way. As Eli Bright makes his way onto the pit lane. And this will hand the lead over to Tim Horton. Varying pit strategies late, as we'll stop covering the rather upset winners, and Tim Horton takes the lead. It'll be interesting now to see how these guys cycle out. It's been a race that was dominated by Jessica McNeilson early. She has kind of fallen off the grid late, and unfortunately for them, they're going to finish in last. A valve issue for the 14. Tough break for them, but I believe they will get most laps led. In fact, they will. So, but unfortunate for them, they led the most laps and had an issue late. That is a tough break for the 14 team. So it wasn't a penalty, it was a valve issue that they couldn't fix on the pit lane, and they go behind the wall and end the day. Tim Horton onto the pit lane. Now it's going to get interesting. See how these guys cycle out. Tim Horton gets a lap led. That is good for his cause right now. And that will, in fact, give the most laps led award. That will give the 14 most laps led in the race, so the 14 gets 2 bonus points, but not the result they wanted. Out in front is Eli Bright goes around, and I believe Eli Bright will cycle back out to the race lead. We're going to see they're coming back around this time. But I believe the 13 will cycle out to the race lead. Yes, they will. Eli Bright to the race lead. Second is Hillary Sanchez so far. Tim Horton third. Max Anderson fourth. Ethan Lynn fifth. We got a battle for that though as Brad Stover looks for fifth. He'll stay in sixth. Not quite. 7th is Charles Sanford, and he's actually going to get the 6th position away, I believe. And yes, he will. 8th is Jackson Lynn, 9th is Ryan Monaco, 10th is Angel Navarro. Eli Bright only extends his lead right here. But you had to picture that was going to happen. He had such a huge lead entering the pit lane. So far we've had 7 different winners this season. Only one 2-time winner, and that is Tim Horton in that number 42. Eli Bright looks to become a first-time winner this season. I think he should be able to do it with 3 laps of racing to go. I'm very shocked we've been caution-free to this point. I thought we'd be covering a lot of wrecks, but so far, these guys have been racing very clean here at Edmonton. You know, we've had a few iffy passes. Not for the lead, but, you know, for sure a few iffy passes, but so far it's been a very clean race for most of these guys. Not much movement either, as it looks like Hillary Sanchez is starting to slowly close that gap, but I don't know if she has enough time to really catch the 13. Here we go, they will come down the long back stretch. That gap definitely closed a lot. Two laps to go. No, it didn't close. I guess I'm seeing things. Or else she lost a lot of it in that final corner. Really, Hillary Sanchez is the only one who could catch that 13. But I doubt it could happen. It's a road course though. A lot can change. You know, the 13 could run off into the grass. Obviously, we don't want to jinx it. You know, but definitely, and I've been listening to the 13 radio, they're just telling him, hit his marks. You know, they're telling him, hit your marks. Don't mess, you know, just hit your marks and relax. Because this is a chance to win on the first road course of the season. This is a wild card race. As I mentioned, we don't run these road courses very often. We don't run restrictor plates very often. And you know where we go next race? We go to a restrictor plate. A huge wild card. Any one of the 40 guys could win this race. You could start in 40th and somehow win it. As the white flag waves this time, one more lap to go for Eli Bright. He was a surprise early in the season. I believe he won the pole. Yes, he did. He won the pole for the Jello Cup Series Daytona 500. Didn't run well in that race. He hasn't run well race-wise. Hasn't been noted too much. Germain Racing last season started out horribly. Landon Martin started running very well in that 13, just missed the chase, couldn't get a win. Germain Racing has yet to win at the Cup level. They picked up Eli Bright this season after Landon Martin left for what was thought to be a better opportunity over at James Buchanan Motorsports. We come through the final corners, down the long back stretch to the S's. Eli Bright is going to take Germain Racing to victory lane for the first time ever. Eli Bright wins at Edmonton. A caution-free race on a road course. I don't think we'll be able to say that the rest of the season. And how about all these guys finishing top 10? Tim Horton will likely be your points leader. I wouldn't doubt it at the moment that he could be the point leader after this race. Shoot, my apologies. Charles Sanford came out with a decent top 10 today. Good race for him, and exactly what they needed to get back on the right track. But Eli Bright with the win will put him in the chase, more than likely. I believe the results are still coming in, but we want to thank you for watching, and we will see you next week at Talladega. Here come your results and standings. Goodbye, everyone.